Welcome to Provincial Resource Library's NL History Picture Show. My name is Bonnie Morgan, and I'm the Newfoundland and Labrador Collections Librarian with NL Public Libraries. And this is the first video in a series that we are going to do featuring photographs from our Newfoundland and Labrador photograph collection, which is housed at the A.C. Hunter Public Library in St. John's. So this video is called Downtown St. John's 40 Years Ago, and it features photographs taken in 1978 and 1979 by Florence Murin, who was an amateur photographer. This is a shot of New Gower Street, taken in the winter, as you can see. And here are some businesses that were located on New Gower Street at that time. The next shot shows the intersection of Queens Road and Duckworth Street. Now, I put this in here because the signs really caught my eye and reminded me of a saying that we used to have about a perfect breakfast, which was a Coke, a smoke, and a date square. Now, not the healthiest of breakfasts, but something you would hear 40 years ago. Here's a view looking down Casey Street. And in these pictures, a couple of things that I notice are the houses, what's standing, what's not standing, the colors, the condition, and also the vehicles. I find cars really interesting, so that's something that stands out for me. And as we look through, maybe you'll notice some too. Here's a picture at the intersection of New Gower and Springdale Streets, and that was taken in the fall of 1979. This street no longer stands. It's Barron Street. So it was demolished as part of city revitalization efforts, and this particular street was near Brazel's Square, again an area that is no longer standing in St. John's. Here we see the corner of Pleasant and Haggerty Streets. And here's a view looking up Livingstone Street. And in the distance, in the top left-hand corner, you can see St. Andrew's Presbyterian Church, the Kirk. Here is the corner of Holdsworth and George Streets as it looked in 1979. Here is some shops on Water Street, some really popular department stores that were there at that time. So on the right-hand side, you can see Woolworths. Next to that is the arcade, and then there's an empty spot. That's where the Big Six used to stand. So popular downtown department store. And here's Parker Monroe, which was just a little bit west of the picture we just looked at. And this was a really popular and well-known family shoe store. Next to that is the Steers Insurance and Simpson Sears building. Simpson Sears, by this time, when this picture was taken, had moved. They had moved up into the Village Mall. Across from that area is Queen Street. And you can see a couple of businesses here, Greg's Diner and Gulliver's. The sign on the next building is Theo Hamelman Jewelry. And beyond that, we can just see the back corner of Lars Fruit Store. Here's Cabot Street. And another business, Teuton's Photography, was located in the White and Brown building, and that was another well-known local business at that time. And here's Harbor Drive, a scene from Harbor Drive. And a a scene on Harvey Road. So here's looking east, and some of you may remember the Paramount Theater, and you can see the sign in this shot that Florence Murin took. Now I've got a couple of shots of Bates Hill. So here is the west side of Bates Hill. Here is the east side. And at the top, you can see just a bit of Queens Road. Moving down towards Duckworth, here is a shot looking west, and it's taken at the intersection of Duckworth and Bell Street. Here on Cookstown Road is a building, a shop that many of you may remember, a really landmark grocery store. Moving now downtown again to Duckworth, and here is a shot looking up Cochrane Street. So a couple of things in this picture really stand out. Of course, on the right-hand side, the devastation. That's an area that's now a parking lot. The other thing that I just love in this picture is the woman heading down the sidewalk of Cochrane Street, perhaps to do a little bit of shopping in one of those downtown stores. A great picture. The next three shots are of some of our best known famous row houses in the city. This one is the Four Sisters on Temperance Street. And here is Devon Row. And they pretty much look very similar to as they look now. But here is Kimberly Row, and it looks pretty somber compared to now, when it is probably one of our most photographed sets of row houses because of the bright, vibrant colors that are on those buildings now. So another shot where we'll see both sides of the street. So here's Chapel Street, the east side, with a glimpse of Bond at the top. And here is Chapel Street West. And you can just see a glimpse of the Basilica at the top right-hand corner. And the other thing that you can't miss in this shot is that Chevette. So right in the bottom towards the center is a Chevy Chevette, a really popular car that you'd see a lot on the streets of St. John's 40 years ago. Here's Henry Street with another one of our grand churches in the background, the Cathedral of St. John the Baptist. Now I have a little series from the Rowlands Cross area with Murphy's Grocery Store, which many of us remember in that picture. And we also see the cleaner at Rowlands Cross and O'Mara Martin Drugs. This shot was taken at the corner of Prescott Street and Queens Road. What stood out here for me was the battleship gray houses. You can see that marine gray paint that was really popular and you'd see on houses in the downtown core. The other thing, right on the right-hand side towards the bottom, a Newfoundland Telephone Company van. And it's been a long time since I've seen one that looked like that. Here's Flavin Street. I included this because of the Imperial Tobacco Company building. That's that tall sort of four-story building that we can see there towards the center, which is now the Imperial. But this is how it looked in 1979. Here's a view down from the intersection of Prescott and Bond Streets. And here is a corner store. I wanted to include this because it was once such a common sight in the downtown. And we have these corner stores that would be walking distance for people from their homes. This particular one was on Victoria Street. And to conclude this slideshow, this sampling of pictures of our downtown from 40 years ago. I've got two views of Victoria Street. So here's the west side of Victoria, and here is the east side looking down towards Gower. And I think it looks so charming and so beautiful. So in 1979, our beautiful streetscapes were really a part of our city. And I think it just looks lovely. So again, these pictures are just a sample from the Hunt and Murin photograph collections that we have at the A.C. Hunter Public Library as part of our Provincial Resource Library. So, and there's a little picture of Florence Murin, the photographer, who took the pictures we just enjoyed with her father, Edmund Hunt, who was an amateur photographer as well. I have a couple of recommended reads here. So if you enjoyed this slideshow and want to read more about downtown, we have a couple here for you. So number one is Florence Murin's book. So Now and Then, a collection of photographs that was published by Harry Cuff Publications in the mid-1980s. I included a couple of memoirs, so Frank J. Kennedy's A Corner Boy Remembers, as well as three by Robert Hunt, so his memoir of Brazel Street and also Townies and Corner Boys. There's a couple of novels here, Joel Thomas Hines's Right Away Monday, which is set in downtown St. John's, and Trudy Morgan Cole's Most Anything You Please. Yes, I know it's Rabbit Town, but it centers around a corner store and it really captures a flavor of the city. And the last one I've included here is a more recent book, Streetcars of St. John's, which has comparative photographs, historic photographs and more recent ones that you may enjoy if you like looking at pictures of the city. So thank you for watching our video slideshow, and we have more of these NL History Picture shows planned, and they'll be coming soon featuring images from our photograph collections at the Provincial Resource Library. Once again, I'm Bonnie Morgan, your Newfoundland and Labrador Collections Librarian. Thanks again for watching, and see you soon.